So today I thought I'd show you how I converted my kitchen from this to this for only £36. To do this, I used this V33 white satin cabinet paint. So the reason I did this is because the laminate on the doors for the kitchen cabinets has started peeling, just like this. So this picture isn't actually my kitchen cabinets, but this is exactly what happened to mine. Okay, so the first thing I did before getting started was take a piece of masking paper and a pen and write down a number, each door and each cabinet. Next, I removed each door and drawer from the cabinets. So as I said, they all had old peeling laminate, so I pulled this off. You might or probably won't need to do this, but I did. Next, I masked the edges on the back of the door because I only want to paint the fronts. I also didn't bother painting the cabinets themselves because I wasn't really bothered, and now they match our IKEA kitchen island. But obviously, if you want to paint everything, then you won't need to mask the back of the door, but you will need to mask around the edges of cabinets and for the worktops. For this kitchen renovation, I didn't bother replacing the worktops because they were absolutely fine. But if you do have a tired worktop, you could use laminate stickers like these. It's supposed to work quite well. Or you might be surprised to see how relatively cheap it can be to replace the actual worktop in an existing kitchen. Replacing worktops along with painting the cabinets can absolutely transform a kitchen for a really, really low budget. So how did I actually do this? Well, because I had old peeling laminate coming off, when I pulled that off I had bare MDF underneath. I couldn't put the cabinet paint straight onto the MDF, so I had to use a primer first. Before putting the primer on, I sanded back and cleaned the cabinet doors with a sugar soap solution. You'll need to do this to your cabinet doors too, and you may or may not need a primer at that stage. The cabinet paint says you don't need a primer, but I'm not sure I trust that. So after the primer had dried, I used a 4-inch foam roller to roll on some of the V33 cabinet paint. I let this dry overnight and then added another coat the next day. Leaving that coat to dry overnight, the cabinets were now ready. And it was now just a case of putting the handles back on the doors and putting the kitchen back together. And as you can see, we ended up with this result. So you might be wondering about durability of the paint. Well, I actually did this about a year ago and there's no chips or scuffs in the paint anywhere. The paint also wipes down really well. So I thought I'd give you a slightly closer up view of the kitchen before we wrapped up. So as you can see, I was talking about the cabinets themselves still being that beige colour, and they kind of match the worktop that we have here, so I wasn't too worried about that. Here's a closer look at one of the cabinet doors themselves. You can see a really good finish. No problems there, really durable. The paint also goes on really well, and you get really good even coverage. I have had some slight chipping on the edge of this drawer, but as you can see, I've not painted the back. If you were to paint the back, you'd have no issues, I don't think. Make sure to subscribe for more renovations and property investing tips.